Okay, so for this video, we are going to discuss the second set of the identity, okay, the identity for trigo. So we call it as compound angle formula or the addition formula. All right, compound angle or the addition formula. So for compound angle, generally is they are asking you how to expand. If let's say you are having sine, let's say 40 plus x. If you have sine 40 plus x, you cannot tell me that, oh, teacher, I split it become sine 40 degree plus sine x. This is wrong. Okay, just like ln, the same idea. So if let's say you're having ln x squared plus 1, you also cannot split it become ln x squared plus ln 1. This is wrong also. All right, so the trigo and ln have the same function, same meaning. That means you cannot straight away expand the bracket like this when you're having the angle inside the trigo or when you're having something inside the ln. All right, so this mainly, the compound angle is to show you, okay, to prove how are you going to expand the sine 40 plus x or maybe a plus b. We call this as compound angle, right? Okay, so there are three compound angle that you should remember. Then again, if you search from internet, there are a lot of methods which is they tell you, or maybe they will teach you how to memorize it. Okay, so for you, it depends on yourself. You go and choose one method. How are you going to memorize it? All right, so for me, because I apply it for many times already, therefore I already can remember it. Okay, then now let us start. When you're having sine A plus B, you look at the plus. Don't bother about the negative first. All right, you look at the plus. So when you're having sine A plus B, then generally you're having sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. If you're having sine A minus B, then the equation is still the same, but you change the plus become minus. So the sign are the same, plus and minus here. This is also plus and minus. But the formula itself will be sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. So usually for me, what I memorize is I will remember sine cos plus cos sine, sine cos sine. For me myself, because I already applied it for many years, so that's why this is how I memorize it. But generally, actually, I can remember this is because I applied it many times already, so that's why I remember it. Yeah, right. So when you're having cos A plus minus B, then you're having cos A cos B minus plus. So you have to take note on the sign here. For cos is a bit different. If let's say you're having plus and minus in the bracket, and then when you want to expand it, it will become minus and plus. Which means if you're having cos A plus B, let's say. So when you expand it, it will become cos A cos B minus sine A sine B. So please take note on this. Okay? And after that, tangent A plus minus B. So when you expand it, it becomes tangent A plus minus tangent B divided by 1 minus plus tangent A and tangent B. Okay, so actually this identity, we learned it before in somewhere. I don't know whether you still remember it or not. Okay, actually we learned it somewhere. Do you still remember that we are having the tangent theta equals to m1 plus m2 divided by 1 minus m1, m2 or not? Okay, so actually the angle between two straight lines, the pattern comes from here. Okay, because we should have tangent something plus something, right? Oh, sorry, my equation is wrong. It should be minus and plus. This one is minus. Okay, so it should be m1 minus m2 divided by 1 plus m1, m2. So here actually is a minus. Okay, and the pattern is coming from here actually. All right, so these are the three identities that you should know for compound angle. Think a way to memorize it. Try to think about it. For me, I didn't go and search out what is the best method for you to memorize. Okay, you can go and search it on your own and see which one you can understand the best. All right. Okay, so the same thing happened here. For proving part, you can have a look. So I attach all the proving part here in details. If you're interested, you can have a look. If you don't interested at all, then you can just skip the whole part here. They are not going to ask you about the proving in the exam. All right. Okay, so for me, what I want to do now is I want to focus on the example on how to actually apply, okay, all these identity to get the answer. Okay, all right. So as an example, if I'm having cos 150 minus 45, so 150 minus 45, you should get 105. Okay, so without using calculator, can you get the value for cos 105 or not? It is not easy. Okay, because calculator can help you to calculate something more details, right? Okay, so you can actually change the 105 become 150 and 45. It will become 150 minus 45. So the 150 is like your A, and then the 45 is like your B. Okay, so this example 8, there are 3 parts here. I will show part B to you, and then you have to complete part A and also part C yourself. Part A is very simple, part C is hard. So please make sure you try both on your own. Okay, so we look at part B first. All right, so for part B, what do I have is I'm having cos and then 150 minus 45. So it is a compound angle for cos, right? So when you expand it, it will become cos A, cos B, okay, plus sine A, sine B. Okay, so this is what I have, cos A, cos B, plus sine A, sine B. Okay, so how can I get the value for cos 150? So again, you still need to go back to the trigo that we learned before. Okay, so all these is very useful. To me, I think it's very useful. I don't know how do you think about it. Okay, right. So for cos 150, 150 is in the second quadrant. Right, so how can I get 150? It is actually 180 minus 30. Therefore, you should refer to the basic angle 30 when you want to get cos 150. Okay, so cos 30, what's the value for cos 30? So cos 30, if you follow the triangle that I teach you to memorize last time, it should be square root 3 over 2. And then cos 150, the 150 because it's in the second quadrant, therefore you need to put the negative in front. Okay, but for those who are using ES calculator, definitely you have no problem to get square root 3 over 2 lah. All right, okay, because if you using MS calculator, if you want to use the short form, right, as your final answer, then you have to draw the triangle out. Okay, so which triangle I already asked you to memorize last time, so please go and figure it out yourself. All right, okay, so I'm having cos 150, which is negative 3 over 2, negative square root 3 over 2, cos 45, if I draw the triangle, I'm having square root 2 over 2. All right, then for sine 150, so again, sine 150, you look for the value sine 30. So sine 30 is half. And then in the second quadrant, sine is positive. Therefore, you are having positive half. Sine 45, again, if you follow the calculator, the triangle, you should have square root 2 over 2. And after that, if you want to simplify it, you can factorize out the 1 over 4. And after that, you have negative square root 6 plus square root 2. So if you want your answer to look better, you can rephrase it, become 1 over 4 square root 2 minus square root 6. All right, so this example actually involves of all the basics that you learned before. Okay, but here I'm not going to discuss with you how to get all the basic value, okay, how to refer to the angle and so on. Please spend some time again, go and refer your AS syllabus. I teach everything in previous syllabus. Okay, I'm not going to repeat again and again. So it's your responsibility to go and figure it out yourself. All right. Okay, so don't look at this kind of question, although it might not be asked in the exam, but all this actually train the concept, how you get the value from trigo in a third form. All right, it might be very helpful in solving the trigo type question in the future, like integration and everything. You need all this. All right, so please make sure you go and figure it out how to get all the value correctly here. All right, so I hope that you already had an idea how we do it. So now I want you to try part A and part C yourself. I will only show you the final answer. All right, so for part A, the final answer that you get should be 1 over 4 square root 6 plus square root 2. And then for part C is harder actually, but if you are careful enough, you should get 2 minus square root 3. All right, so I will just keep this for you to try it out. Okay, all right, so A and C, try out on your own. Okay, again, don't cheat. For those who are using ES calculator, should be no problem. But for those who are using MS calculator, again, if you want to get the answer in short form, you always need to use the triangle that we learned before. There are 2 triangles that you need to know. Alright, so please go and figure it out. Okay, then let's continue to another type of question, example 9. Okay, so for example 9, they actually want you to find the value of sine A plus B, cos A plus B, and also tangent A plus B. Given that sine A is this value, cos B is this value, and then A and B is in the first quadrant, and so on. Alright, so now, I will discuss part B with you because it is harder. Alright, so the part A, which is the easier one, you can try on your own. Alright, so they tell you that cos A is negative 12 over 13, tangent B is 7 over 4. And here, A is in second quadrant and B is in third quadrant. Okay, so how can you solve this kind of question? Alright, so if you want, you can actually draw a triangle to help you. Okay, so because A is in second quadrant, so second quadrant, the triangle will be somewhere here. Okay, and this is your value A. Right, so cos A negative 12 over 13. So the negative 12 is here. This is negative 12. This is 13. And therefore, this is 5. You apply the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so this is the triangle that you have. And also for B is in the third quadrant. So maybe you can draw the third quadrant out first. For third quadrant, the triangle will look something like this. Okay, and the B is here. So they tell you B is tangent B is 7 over 24. So 7 means this one. And because the triangle is going down, right? So it should be negative 7. And then 24 means negative 24 here. So the slope, the Pythagoras, what is this already? Pythagoras, is it? Hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is always positive one. Okay? Alright, so this is A and B. And then to calculate the answer for sine A plus B is very simple. You just need to know how to expand it correctly. So what is sine A plus B? So sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. So what you need to do is like you just need to refer to the triangle that you draw just now and then you put in the value. So what's the value for sine A? So sine A should be 5 over 30. What's the value for cos B? So for the cos B will be negative 24 over 25. Plus, what's the value for cos A? So if you look at cos A, it should be negative 12 over 13. And after that, sine B. Sine B, I will get negative 7 over 25. Okay, so you just refer to the triangle that you draw out. Okay, and then if you didn't get any careless mistake when pressing calculator, you should get negative 36 over 325. Okay, so this is how we do it. So you did the same thing for cos and tangent. All right, so for cos. Okay, how to get the value for cos A plus B? So it should be cos A cos B minus sine A sine B. All right, and after that, again, you put in the value according to the triangle that you have. And please try and see whether you get 323 over 325 for cos A plus B. All right, then the last one. So the last one, they want you to calculate tangent. So tangent A plus B. If you want to apply the formula for tangent A plus B, it will look a bit complicated, which is tangent A plus tangent B divided by 1 minus tangent A tangent B. Okay, got fraction. So you can use this way if you want. If you don't want, then you can use a lazy method like what I teach you here. So as what I know, tangent A plus B, I can write it as sine A plus B divided by cos A plus B. Right, because tangent theta is sine theta plus divided by cos theta. So the same thing happened here, sine A plus B divided by cos A plus B. All right, so now, because you already get the value for sine A plus B and cos A plus B just now, so you can just straight away substitute it. So you have negative 36 divided by 325 over what? Over 323 divided by 325. So very easily, you can get the answer for tangent, which is negative 36 over 323. If you don't believe that this is the correct answer, you can try to use the formula that you learned just now. I showed you just now, and then you try and see whether you can get the same answer or not. Alright, so this is how you solve this kind of question. Again, it is very basic, just to test you whether you know how to get the correct value from the triangle or not. and also the correct sign, positive, negative sign from the different quadrants. Okay, so for part A, again, this question part A is very simple, so I just want you to try out on your own. I will give you only the final answer. If you cannot get the answer, you let me know again by showing me your steps. Don't just tell me that, teacher, I don't know how to do. Then you ask the solution from me. I won't show you. Okay, so the first one, answer for part A, sine A plus B. The answer is 63 over 65. Okay, then cos A plus B. The answer should be negative 16 over 65. Okay, and after that for tangent, so tangent A plus B, the answer should be negative 63 over 60. So these are the three answers that you should get if let's say you try out on your own correctly. All right. Okay, so although all this might not be being asked in the exam, but just please take note that all the concepts here are very important because they actually train you, okay, to think, okay, how to get the correct value from the triangle, okay, and also from the different quadrants. So it's actually a practice session, although they won't ask you this kind of question in the exam, right? Okay, so if no problem, and you understand how to get all the answer here, let us continue to try the exam style question. All right, so we proceed to example 10. Okay, so if you look at example 10, it is a past question like May, June 2010, paper 3 question 3. All right, so if you look at this, they give you information here, cos A equals to 3 over 5. And then please take note on this part. This one means that A is in the first quadrant. All right, so show your working and without using calculator to evaluate A, find the exact value of sine A minus B. Okay, so now they give you the value cos A, which is 3 over 5. So actually you can use a triangle to try to help you. So if let's say this is A, cos A is 3 over 5, that means this is 3, this is 5, and this value is a 4. Okay, and after that, what can we do is you try to get okay, so they want you to get the value for sine A minus 30 degree. Okay, so what is sine A minus 30? So you're having sine A cos B, okay, then minus cos A sine B. So again, you try to put in the value. So what's the value for sine A? So sine A is 4 over 5, and it is positive. How I know that it is positive? Because A is in the first quadrant, and therefore all the sine, cos, tangent are positive. Okay? If let's say A is in second quadrant, then you have to think it other way around. Right? So in second quadrant, what happened to the cos? Okay, it will be negative. What will happen to the tangent? It will be negative. So you need to be very careful to answer this kind of question. Right, so what's the value for cos 30? So for cos 30, it should be square root 3 over 2. Okay, in case you don't know how to sketch it, then again, okay, so I'm having 30 degree here. This is 1, 2, this is square root 3, and this is 60. So this triangle is something that you should memorize it. Right, then minus cos A sine 30. So what's the value for cos A again? 3 over 5. And then sine B. So sine 30 is half. Alright, so if you try to simplify it, eventually you will get 4 square root 3 minus 3 divided by 10. Okay, so this is how we solve for example 10. Alright, okay, so if no problem, let us continue to example 11. Okay, so for example 11, they want you to solve the equation. Okay, so when they want you to solve the equation, just now I already told you, right? You have to make sure that your whole equation have only one type of trigo. Okay, if you look at this question, you only have one type of trigo, cos x plus 30 and also cos x. All right, so the second thing that you need to check is to solve it, you make sure you can try or make sure that you actually get and expand. There's no compound angle, so that until the stage that you have no compound angle in your calculation. All right, unless you have only one type of one single trigo. If they give you something like this, cos, x plus 30 equals to negative 1 over 4. If like this, then you can straight away solve it. But now we are having two costs. One cost is cos x plus 30. Another one is 2 cos x. So you cannot solve the equation straight away like this. What you need to do now is you have to try to expand the compound angle here. And after that, only we check and see which method is suitable for us to solve the equation. All right. Okay. So we try to expand it first. Okay. So cos x plus 30 equals to 2 cos x. All right, so if I expand this, I will have cos x cos 30, okay, minus sin x sin 30 equals to 2 cos x. Okay, so cos 30 is square root 3 over 2 cos x. Sin 30 is what? Sin 30 is half, so half sin x equals to 2 cos x. Okay, so now we have a little bit problem here because you have both sine and cos. Okay, maybe you can try to group all the cos together first on the left hand side, and then the sine I keep it on the right. Okay, so when you're having sine and cos, there's one trigo you can actually try to get by having the sine and cos. What is it? Okay, so wait. So if let's say for this question, right, the next step is what? You are having 2 cos x here. We can try to factorize it. Okay, so when I factorize it, left hand side is a cos, right hand side got sine. So I can actually change them, become sine x divided by cos x equals to square root 3 over 2 minus 2 divided by half. Okay, and then if you continue from here, you will get tangent x is equals to negative 2.2679499192. Okay, I'll get a fraction. Either a fraction, if let's say you are using the ES calculator, if you are using MS calculator, then you'll get maybe something like this are the value. Okay, so now again, to find out the answer between negative 180 until positive 180, you need to find the basic angles. So what's the basic angle that you have for this equation? You should get 66.2. Again, when you want to get the basic angle, ignore the negative sign when you press calculator. Right? So you get 66.2, and then they want negative 180 to positive 180 and tangent negative. So for tangent negative, the answer that you get should be from the second quadrant and also the fourth quadrant. Alright, the second quadrant and also all side tangent cos, right? So the second quadrant and also the fourth quadrant. If you follow the negative angle, you should get negative 66.2. If you go through the quadrant, so again, how you go through the quadrant, I'm not going to discuss it again here, so try to figure it out yourself. And after that, for the second quadrant, you should take 180 minus 66.2, and that's why you should get 113.8. All right. Okay, so again, when you copy the solution here, you'll find that, okay, you roughly know, understand, but make sure you really go and figure it out how to get the negative 66.2 and how to get 113.8. Don't just copy the solution and stop here. All right, so the main idea is you need to learn how to get these two values. All right, because I didn't show you, right? Okay or not? So please try and figure it out. This is the important technique. Okay, how to get the correct value from the 4 different quadrants. Okay. All right, so this is what I have for example 7, also exam style question of solving equation. Okay, then the last example for this part will be example 12. Okay, so for example 12, generally I want you to try out on your own. Okay, so first part, ask you to show this whole equation. You can change it, become this one. Okay, so what is the hint? The hint is you just try to expand tangent x minus 60 according to the compound angle formula. Cotangent x, change it become 1 over tangent x. And then you try to rephrase everything and you should be able to get this. Okay? And then for part number 2, they want you to solve this equation, right, that I put it in the red color box. But just now you already proved that the equation for this red color box is similar to this one. Okay, so for part number 2, you can straight away start from this equation. For part number 2, you can straight away start from this equation, and then you straight away press calculator to get the solution for tangent x. Alright, so for part number 2, if you press calculator, your tangent x should be equals to 2 value here. Alright, 0.3961435. Another one is tangent x equals to negative 1.2621689. Okay, then you continue to get the basic angle and solve for everything. Okay, final answer for this should be x equals to 21.6 degree. And also another one is 128.4. Because they want your final answer is between first two quadrants only. Alright, so this is the answer for part B. Okay, so part 1 proving part 2 solving. So please make sure you try out on your own, try to figure out the details and everything and get the answer. Alright, so we'll stop here for this video. In the next video, we are going to discuss the double angle identity.